Rome has long been on the path of decline. The empire is rotting from within, and enemies are attacking from all sides. And in the midst of this chaos, one man rises, born a simple soldier, yet destined to become a legend. His name, Belisarius. He saved the capital during the Nika Revolt, defeated the Vandals in Africa, reclaimed ancient Rome in Italy. But his greatest trial was not on the battlefield, but within the shadowy walls of the palace, where betrayal, intrigue, and loyalty were put to the ultimate test. This is the story of Byzantium's last great general, Belisarius. Let us begin. Fact 1. Humble beginnings. The peasant's son who became a legend. At the end of the 5th century, the Roman Empire was already old and weakened, while new powers were rising around it. Amidst this turmoil, in the harsh lands of Thrace, present-day Bulgaria, a child was born to a poor family. His name was Belisarius. He was neither an aristocrat nor highly educated. His childhood was filled with hard labor and poverty. Yet one thing set him apart: his military talent and discipline. From a young age, he showed an interest in weapons and combat. Historians recount that as a youth, he even formed a small cavalry unit, which became known as a miniature model of the Byzantine army. Fact 2. Justinian's favorite general. In the 6th century, the Byzantine throne was held by a powerful, yet deeply suspicious and passionate ruler, Emperor Justinian I. His dream was not just to defend Byzantium. He sought to revive the Roman Empire and reclaim its lost lands. But to achieve this grand vision, he needed more than a master of the sword. He needed a general who could make history with both skill and intellect. And that's when Belisarius stepped onto the stage. Justinian quickly realized that Belisarius was unlike any other. He did not just win on the battlefield, he understood the subtle games of politics. He had earned the loyalty and love of his soldiers. Mutiny might arise elsewhere, but never under Belisarius' command. Most importantly, he showed unwavering loyalty to the emperor, even at the cost of his own life. In fact, Justinian rarely fully trusted anyone, yet Belisarius was one of the rare exceptions. He often called him to the palace and shared his secret plans with him. Justinian once confided to his close circle, "If one of my hands holds the law, the other rests upon Belisarius' sword." Fact 3. The Nika Revolt. Belisarius saves Constantinople. January 5-32, Constantinople, the greatest city in the world, was engulfed in flames. This was no ordinary revolt. It was the Nika Revolt, shaking the emperor from his throne and bringing Byzantium to the brink of collapse. It began as a simple grievance at the hippodrome during chariot races, but quickly escalated into a full-scale political and social uprising. The factions known as the Blues and the Greens united, shouting, "Nika, victory!" Their single demand, "Down with Justinian." Chaos consumed the streets. Palaces and churches were set ablaze. Close advisors of the emperor were killed. Thousands took up arms against the throne. Justinian cowered in the palace, panic-stricken. But Belisarius was by his side. Belisarius' plan was ruthless, but there was no other way. The revolt had to be crushed with blood. He gathered a small disciplined force and struck the hippodrome, where tens of thousands of rebels had gathered. Imagine it. On one side, a frenzied crowd, shouting, flames, and glinting swords. On the other, the ordered, relentless steps of Belisarius' soldiers. Under his command, the attack commenced. The hippodrome turned into a sea of blood. Historians report that over 30,000 people were slain within hours. It was horrifying, but it was the only way to save the empire. That day, the streets of Constantinople burned, but Justinian retained his throne. Without Belisarius' determination, the Byzantine Empire might have collapsed forever. Fact 4. The Vandal campaign, conquering a great empire with a small force. After crushing the Nika Revolt, Justinian's greatest ambition began to take shape: to reclaim the lost lands of the Western Roman Empire. His eyes turned first to North Africa, once a Roman province, now ruled by the Vandals, rich and prosperous. The Vandal capital, Carthage, was a jewel of the Mediterranean. Their king, Gelimer, felt invincible, having ruled Africa for a century and defeated the Roman navy multiple times. But Justinian trusted Belisarius. knowing he could achieve great things with a small but disciplined force. In 533, Belisarius sailed to Africa with just 15,000 soldiers, a monumental risk as the enemy greatly outnumbered them. Yet Belisarius' strength lay not in numbers, but in discipline, strategy, and cunning. Two decisive battles sealed the fate of the Vandals. The Battle of Ad Decimum, where Belisarius expertly ambushed the Vandals, crushing them. The Battle of Tricamarum, the final victory, leaving the Vandals unable to regroup. Historians recount that when Belisarius' army entered Carthage, the people welcomed them as liberators, freed from the Vandals' harsh rule. In just a few months, the Vandals' century-old dominion was destroyed. North Africa, with its fertile fields and bustling ports, returned to Byzantium. Back in Constantinople, Justinian held a grand celebration, while Belisarius once again proved he was the general who restored the lost glory of Rome. Fact 5. The Italian Campaign, the general who reclaimed Roman lands. In 533 to 534, after defeating the Vandals, Belisarius' name had become a legend throughout the empire. Yet his greatest trial awaited: Italy and the Ostrogoths. The Ostrogoths had long occupied Roman lands, holding the heart of the empire in their hands. Rome itself seemed lost forever. In 535, Belisarius landed in Italy, gradually striking at Ostrogothic positions, weakening them one by one. His military strategy was both daring and brilliant. He captured cities through blockades, cutting off food and supply routes. He launched small, rapid attacks to trap the enemy. He also employed diplomacy and deception against the Ostrogoths. In 537, the most dramatic moment arrived: the siege of Ravenna, the Ostrogoth capital. Belisarius conducted the siege with unwavering determination, forcing the city to surrender. This victory was not only strategic, but symbolic, reclaiming the very heart of the Roman Empire. Throughout the Italian campaign, Belisarius proved himself a warrior, a diplomat, and a strategist. His army was small, but every move was precise and deadly. Rome once again fell under Byzantine control, marking the pinnacle of Justinian's plan to restore the Roman Empire. Fact 6. The Just and Merciful General, a bridge between victory and humanity. Belisarius' historical fame was measured not only by his victories, but also by his justice and mercy, the traits that elevated him to legend. Even after defeating his enemies on the battlefield, he never acted cruelly. He acted justly. In his victories over the Vandals and Ostrogoths, he treated captured soldiers with compassion. Historians recount that he even provided medical care to wounded enemy soldiers who might not survive otherwise instead of killing them. He collected spoils only for his army and the emperor, never plundering towns or harming civilians. In the cities he conquered, he restored peace, instilling hope rather than fear among the populace. One episode tells of Belisarius liberating Carthage from the Vandals. The citizens were terrified, but he assured them, "You are free now. My duty is not to spill your blood, but to open the path to your salvation." This conduct did not only reflect his humanity, it also earned him loyalty among his soldiers. For Belisarius, victory was not just about gaining territory, it was about winning hearts. Thus, as a warrior, strategist, and leader, he was forever etched into history. Fact 7. His wife Antonina, the woman at the heart of intrigue. One of the most dramatic aspects of Belisarius' life was not only found on the battlefield, but also within the palace intrigues. At the center of these was Antonina, his wife. Antonina was no ordinary woman. She was incredibly intelligent, courageous, and at times cunning. She was often at the heart of political games, sometimes casting shadows over Belisarius' achievements or maintaining balance within the palace. Rumors occasionally swirled at Justinian's court about her influence over both her husband and the emperor. Historians say that Antonina played a key role in the strategies of both Belisarius and Justinian, acting as a secret diplomat and influencer behind the scenes. Yet despite the intrigue, Belisarius trusted her implicitly. His life shows that he achieved historic victories not only with his sword, but also with the clever support of Antonina. Fact 8. Palace intrigues. Belisarius was not immune to the intrigues of the palace. Untrustworthy officials and rivals constantly cast doubt upon him, and at times even the emperor himself harbored suspicions. In these games, Antonina acted as both his defender and strategic partner. Yet Belisarius never betrayed his principles and maintained his unwavering loyalty. Although palace intrigues posed great danger to his life, his courage and intelligence always prevailed. Fact 9. His eternal name, the last genius of the Roman army. Belisarius' life was filled with victories, betrayals, and intrigues, yet his name has endured through the centuries. He is remembered not only as a master of the battlefield, but also as a symbol of humanity and justice. His ability to defeat great empires with small, disciplined forces astonished historians and military strategists alike. His loyalty, mercy, and strategic brilliance made him the most trusted general of Emperor Justinian. His life showed that true heroism is born not only from the sword, but from the value one places on others. Belisarius remains eternally known as the last genius of the Roman army, inspiring generations to come. Fact 10. The death of Belisarius, the tragic end of an old general. Belisarius' life was filled with victories, yet in his old age, he faced a tragic period. Emperor Justinian's suspicions and palace intrigues cast a shadow over his fate. According to a famous historical legend, in his final years, he was blinded and forced to wander the streets of Constantinople as a beggar. While some sources dispute this, the story portrays him as both a hero and a tragic symbol. The exact date of his death remains unknown, but his name and valor live on through the centuries. Thus, the last genius of the Roman army remained forever remembered as both a great general and a paragon of humanity. Belisarius, the general who conquered vast empires with a small force, just, merciful, and legendary. If you love dramatic and inspiring stories of historic heroes, subscribe and turn on notifications so you can be the first to witness new epic tales.